welcome back to the Nik Nak YouTube channel. This is going to be our Week 4 50-50 cash game lineup. So if you guys have been watching our last few videos, you know that you want to be playing kind of a safer lineup here so you can finish above a certain floor and finish the top half of your group so you can get some of that prize money. So last week, if you listened, we got guys like Mike Evans, Dak Prescott, Ryan Tannehill all finished top 10 in their position groups, all for a good price. And like if you listened then, you probably would have won some money. I know I did. So This week at quarterback, we're gonna ride Kirk Cousins at home against the Browns. He's going for 7,600 on FanDuel, and I think that's a good price. Last week we saw him come alive against the Giants, and of course the Browns defense is the Browns defense. So that's gonna be a good play this week. If you want somewhere a little bit cheaper, I mean he's not that cheap anymore, but he used to be. Trevor Siemian is gonna be visiting Tampa Bay, and their pass defense is not that great, honestly. So you know in that game it should be a little high scoring. I think that Trevor Siemian gets some points in that game. So going to running back, a guy who's a lot of people have caught on to the last few weeks. We mentioned him a lot before. Melvin Gordon for 7,600 against the New Orleans run defense. They're giving up the most points to the running back. That price is a little high for me, but if you can afford him, he's definitely a good guy to have in that lineup. Definitely a high floor in that game.
That matchup is just too good.
It's too good.
At home, you can't deal with that.
Yeah. So, and it should be a shootout as well.
Yeah, it should be highly owned. But
two guys that are going for 6,800 is the guys who I might be going with this week. Carlos Hyde at home against Dallas. Dallas is near the bottom for fantasy points allowed to running backs, and Mark Ingram, who's on the other side of that Chargers Saints matchup. The Chargers aren't very good against the running back either. So those are two guys that you can get for a little bit cheaper. Should have a chance to get in the end zone. Should have a chance to get a lot of yardage in those two games. Going to wide receiver, Demaryius Thomas visiting Tampa Bay. He's going to have Altron Werner on him, who's at least 5 inches shorter than him. And DT's starting to come alive with Trevor Siemian. Emmanuel Sanders came back to life last week too, so he should be drawing a little bit of attention in that direction. I expect Demaryius Thomas to get into the end zone this weekend. I think that he has a good floor for points this weekend. Kelvin Benjamin. I know that last week he had 0 catches, but Cam Newton knew that was an issue. The offensive coordinator knew that was an issue. You got to believe that those two guys are stubborn enough to get Kelvin Benjamin the ball this week. And I think that I expect him to put up a lot of points, get a lot of catches, a lot of work, especially in the red zone where Cam loves him. So next up, speaking of the red zone targets, Jamison Crowder from the Redskins. He's second in the league in red zone targets right now. I think that continues this week. I think teams are selling out to stop Jordan Reed in the red zone. That's freeing up underneath for Jamison Crowder to do his work, and I think that continues this week. And even then, he adds punt returns and he adds catches in the middle of the field.
And what you think about is Deshaun is not really a red zone threat.
He's not.
So like if you're taking Jordan Reed at the equation, he's going to Jamison. So
he's going to Crowder, yeah. So I think that's gonna be good. Especially Josh Doxson's gonna miss another game probably this week. So that's another red zone target down. I think Crowder's a good bet to get in the end zone either from a screen pass or a punt return or a catch in the red zone. So I think he's a good target there. Your big money play this week. I hate using this on the tight end usually, but the Atlanta Falcons are the worst team by far in the league to the tight end, and they get Greg Olsen this week. So I think that $7,900 target. It's worth paying up for this week.
I think you should pay up for tight ends because there's a big drop off. Like if you don't get like the 10 to 12 points, you're getting like 4 to 5 to 6, potentially 2 3.
It's got to be the right situation. I think so. Like it's if you get a matchup like this where you elite tight end versus a bad tight end defending defense, it's worth the price.
So are you concerned starting Benjamin and Olsen in the same lineup?
I'm not. I think that Cam has there's enough to go around in that game.
Yeah.
Atlanta's defense isn't that good. It should be a little high scoring. Right. It's gonna be in a dome. It's gonna be fast.
Right.
I think there are definitely points to go around for both of them. Another guy is Zach Miller, who is gonna be facing the Lions defense, who are also at the bottom and points a lot to the tight end. We've seen that Brian Hoyer look for him a few times last week, and I think that continues this week in Chicago. So that's another cheaper option if you don't want to pay up for Greg Olsen. And of course, kicker and defense, we got Matt Bryant inside in Atlanta, 4,600, pretty cheap price. That's pretty good bet to get some points. And the Detroit defense against Chicago, who are without Jeremy Langford, with Brian Hoyer at quarterback, so there should be some turnovers. You never know what happens with Alshon Jeffrey, but for the price that they're at, you don't have to pay up for one of those elite defenses. I think Detroit's gonna be just fine to get you some points in the 50-50 lineup. So good luck this week. Thanks for checking out our videos.
And one thing I want to say is 50-50s, like, don't try to overthink yourself. Don't try to be different from the norm. You want guys that have a high floor, and just what you're gonna get out of them. Yeah. Like you look at our GPP and tournament plays, they're much more risky plays. These guys, like the people that Knuckle mentioned, they're good for the points that they're getting. Yeah. You just want to get that enough to get over that 50%, and you don't care if you get one or. Right at the
if you're in a pool with 100, you're winning, and you finish 49th, you're same amount of money as the guy finishing first. So, with that, thanks for checking us out. Stay tuned for our other videos, and good luck this weekend.